Hey tubers, and welcome back to another story of growing pains. Today I'm going to tell you about the time that I got in a head-on collision with a police officer in my stepdad's stolen truck when I had no license and I tried to run. Let's get right into it. Okay, so I just turned 17, and I remember my mom and my stepdad were on a cruise, so I was home alone for the week. Maybe my sisters were there, I'm not sure, but I was definitely going to have my girlfriend over. That's just what we do, right? So I remember we had school the next day, and she couldn't stay over. She had to go home, but I'm not sure why we didn't plan a way for her to get home. So now it's dark. It's time to go home, and I'm looking at my stepdad's red truck in the driveway, and I know where the keys are. It's a piece of shit Nissan Frontier. It's manual 5-speed. I've driven 5-speed a total of 10 minutes before that day. So I end up thinking that it's a good idea that I'm going to drive her home with no license in my stepdad's truck I have no permission to use. So I'm not going to do it by myself, though. So I call my buddy Hoffman, who lives at the bottom of the hill where my mom used to live, where my mom lives, where I used to live. And I said, "You want to go for a ride with me?" And he was one of my real good friends, so he was outside waiting when I got to the bottom of the hill. Somehow, without incident, we make it over the entire mountain, which is probably 25 miles. And I would have expected to have issues not knowing how to drive stick in a blizzard. We get her to her house. So that part was a success. And I remember now we're going back, and I'm feeling pretty good about myself. But we have to go into the town of Greenwood Lake. There's one stoplight in the entire town. It's a very small town. And now we get to that stoplight. It's a red light, and at the other side of that light, facing me, is a police officer. I have my blinker on. I'm trying to go left. I needed to go left, and I don't think he had his blinker on, but he was going straight, right? The light turns green, and now it's go time. I sit there for about 1 or 2 seconds, if I remember right, and he didn't move. So I thought he was implying that I should go, so I went at the very same time he went, and now I'm somehow finding myself in a head-on collision with a police officer in my stepdad's stolen truck when I don't have a license. And I remember because it was a truck and he had a car, and I was sitting with my lights facing right into him, looking at him. Cannot believe that this just happened to me. Now what's next, right? The logic at the time was, because I had a truck and was 4-wheel drive, I was hoping he had a car that wasn't going to be good in the snow. So I end up putting it in reverse and not slipping, not stalling. I didn't grind any gears. And I remember Hoffman, who was in the passenger seat at the time, now he goes, we're running, we're doing this? And I'm like, yeah, I guess so. So I back up in reverse, give myself just enough space so I could make the left turn without being in his car again, and I'm off, right? I think we got about a half a mile before I decided that I'm doing the dumbest thing I could do, and there was no getting away. Getting away just wasn't going to happen. He was a foot behind me the entire time. So I just pulled over, and I remember him walking up to the window, and he must have seen the sheer panic in my face. Because it's so strange. I remember to this day he said, "You don't have a license, do you?" And his mentality or his demeanor like kind of put me at ease immediately, as much as it could have. But my response was, "No, I don't. Is there any way I could just pay for the damage and be on my way?" And he laughed. He started laughing hysterical at me, and he said that's just not going to happen. So he arrested me, impounded the truck. I remember like 5 days later when my mom and stepdad got back, they were just like, my stepdad was so furious and like took it all out on my mom because he's like a little wussy like that, but it was the biggest fucking deal. And not that I'm belittling it at all. I would not recommend anybody do anything that I did, make any same decision I made in that story. But come on, I was a 17-year-old teenager. I hope you guys got a laugh out of that, and if anybody has anything similar, I would love to hear it. Just put it in the comments. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys.